Good evening, humans. Tyrannosaurusmoth here, and tonight we're taking a look at the beasts of the Mesozoic Tyrannosaur Series, Tyrannosaurus Rex 1/35th scale gray figure from Creative Beast Studio. And I have wanted a Beast of the Mesozoic figure since the line started back with the Raptor series a few years ago, and I just kind of never really pulled the trigger on any of them. But of course, I was not going to pass up the Tyrannosaur series, and absolutely not the Tyrannosaurus Rex. So here is the 1/35th scale version. So let's take a look at it. Let's do this. Aesthetically speaking, this figure looks phenomenal, and David Silva of Creative Beast Studio absolutely has an eye for detail and has really strove to make this entire line, both the raptors, the ceratopsians, and now the tyrannosaurs, all as accurate as possible to current science. And certainly that's what's going on here, aside from the feathers, no feathers debate and the lips, no lips debate for certain tyrannosaurs, including Rexy here. And yeah, just excellent details all around. And this grayscale version is a great way to see that, because we haven't seen the painted versions yet, or we've seen pictures of them, but no one has them in hand because those are still going through the process. But part of this whole grayscale version of both the 1/18th and 1/35th scale Rex were a chance to kind of get a few of these out early and give people a chance to kind of paint them as they wanted, which is part of the reason I wanted this one. So I'm very happy to have it. And as you can see, just skin detail all around, just immaculate sculpt everywhere. And, just fantastic to see that without the paint. Like, it really, kind of lets you see the absolute bare bones of where we are here, and just great silhouette. The cuts in the articulation themselves are definitely lent to kind of maximizing that. So, and we'll get into that in articulation as well, because there's some interesting points there. But yeah, just all around, absolutely just gorgeous sculpt. Amazing details everywhere. As you can see, the inside of the mouth fully sculpted. I'm kind of terrified of painting that, but I'm gonna give it a go. So yeah, just gorgeous figure, and yeah, just awesome to see in person. So that's aesthetics. We have a great loadout of accessories here, and if you were following along with the Kickstarter campaign for the Tyrannosaur series, or just happened to notice on social media, Silva was very transparent about every decision that was made and the entire process. Honestly, it was one of the best Kickstarters I've ever contributed to in that regard. And for this, most of the accessories do have to do with the legs, and he was very concerned about stability and kind of making sure that while also having the posing options. So this all ties into that. So the first thing we're going to go over is feet. Usually we go over hands, but we're feet here, and right out of the box, you can see we just kind of get these splayed out toes. Even the under side of the foot is sculpted, and so we just get those. Those are just on some ball joints, which can come off. And then we get some toes together feet, again, fully sculpted all the way up to the joint itself. And again, so you can get some more accurate running and walking poses. And then finally, we get the kind of arched foot, if you will. So the toes kind of bent as it is actually walking or running, and just really well done all around. Then finally, but moving on, we get a different set of lower legs. So if you'll see here, right at the knee, all you have to do is pull and twist, and these lower legs will come out pretty easily too, which was very nice to discover. And instead of having the cut at the toes and then the first part of the foot, we get these solid legs, and that is to add that stability if you're going to pose it, or not pose it, well, if you're going to pose it with the stand, or if you're just going to have it standing there without the stand, these are definitely the way to go. And as you can see, you just have the joint there with the hinge, and more on that in the next section. But yeah, again, excellent sculpt all around. So that's that. And then finally, we get the stand itself, and as you can see, just kind of a, I guess, hollow piece of plastic, you could say, with a couple of metal pegs for maximum stability, which is always excellent. And yeah, just really well done. And just as an addendum, I wouldn't say finally, you do have instructions here, just basically saying warm up the figure, saying how the legs work, etc. So that is accessories. Some really good stuff here for articulation. So let's jump right into it, and starting off with the head as we normally do. So we have a hinge for the jaw. So as you can see, it can open about that much. Only the lower jaw extends, so it's not the upper and lower. So you get about that much. Then we have a ball joint here at the base of the head. That comes around. Our neck is a floating piece, as you can see. So that can be adjusted depending on where you're trying to go. Pardon me, let me adjust the legs here for a second. And yeah, so we can get about that far up and can come about that far down. And then we got some side to side. So really good range, really fun to move around too. Just be careful of this center piece. Then we come down to the arms. We are on a bit of a, pardon me, hinge and swivel here. So we're coming out about that much, nothing crazy. And then we have a hinge and swivel here at the elbow, which also has rotation. So that is that. We do have a joint here in the middle at the diaphragm. Not too much movement just because of the sculpt. This is a very, very tight sculpt, so that is going to limit your motion there. But you do get a little bit of something, so worth noting. Then we come to the hips, and not so much out because as you can see, the way the cuts are done at kind of an angle here. So we're not really coming out that way, but if you move it forward, it moves along this channel right here. So we're kind of coming like that, coming back probably about that far. So that is that, and that's kind of where you get your leg moving out. So our splits are kind of coming from there, which is very, very interesting, but definitely like moves pretty naturally. It feels right to do it. So, you know, definitely cool. Then we come to the knees, and as you saw, these are very, very tight. So definitely heat up these figures if you have them. So you can fully straighten out, and we can bend to about there. Then we get our next joint. So we're going to about there, fully straightening out. And then again, just a ball joint for the foot. So we're kind of moving all the way around, and we do get a little bit of rocker because of that. Very, very nice. Obviously the other lower legs are all solid and we get nothing. Then we come to the tail, and we are a ball joint here. The tail is separate in the box. So we're coming up about that far, down about that far, side to side. I have another ball joint at the second part, up that far, down that far, side to side. This is actually one of the better implemented segmented tails I've seen. And then finally, our last segment is not only on a ball joint, but you can see those telltale holes, which means we have bendy wire. And the bendy wire is actually all the way through, all the way to the end, which is really impressive. So there you go. That's articulation. Getting into size comparisons, here they are with the just about 1/35th scale Rebor Killer Queen and the Hammond Collection Rexy. With some 1/18th scale humans. With some Hasbro. With some imports. With some monsters. Finally, with an Articulated Icons Oni, and yours truly in human form as an Articulated Icons Ninja. So my final thoughts on the beasts of the Mesozoic Tyrannosaur Series Tyrannosaurus Rex figure is that this is an incredible figure. Unfortunately, I believe that this gray version was a Kickstarter exclusive. I think that window has passed. I definitely got down on this because I had contributed to the original wave of the Kickstarter because I wanted the painted standard T-Rex, and I cannot wait for that one to get in. There'll definitely be a review of that when it comes in. But David Silva had gauged interest on what this would be because a couple people had asked about it, and you know, obviously there was interest because it's a lot of custom potential, and certainly I am hoping to paint this into a kind of the Red Rexy from the Jurassic Park novel, aka the original figure from the Jurassic Park line. So really kind of apprehensive yet excited to get into that. So we'll see how that happens. I'll definitely document it. But yeah, regardless of that, I will definitely have links in the description below to both the Kickstarter and the anywhere online that I can find the Tyrannosaur series. I know Big Bad Toy Store, and there might be other sites as well as to where you can pre-order some of the Tyrannosaur series for your own. So please check those out if you are interested, because if you are a Tyrannosaur fan or just a dinosaur fan in general, you definitely should be you should definitely have some Beasts of the Mesozoic figures in your collection. So please check that out if you are interested. And with that being said, I hope you found this review informative and somewhat entertaining. If you did, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and or sharing. Beyond that, if you want to take it to the next level, there will be ways to do that listed at the bottom of the description as well. So please check those out. And with all of that being said, ultra thanks to you one last time for watching, and I hope you take care of yourself, take care of those around you, and most importantly, stay weird, simians.